Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're doing okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you an overview, which I'll begin in just a moment. There is a link in the description if you'd like to read through it in your own good time. And I'll start off with an overview, but then I will go through the article just to make sure I get everything right and to clarify a few details. But I will let you know that this is not only an horrific, tragic case, but it's also extremely confusing. So I likely will get a little muddled as I give the overview. But for those that do want to make sure that everything is clear, I will read through the details after providing the overview. So in essence, starting off with the tragic aspect of this situation, it does involve the murder of a 25-year-old woman that you see in this image in front of you. Hopefully my pronunciation is correct. Apologies if it isn't. Her name is, we can see it there, I'm pointing at it, it's not highlighting, but I believe the pronunciation is Ciara Chantel Marie Harrison. Cyra is her first name. I'm saying Ciara, maybe it's Syra, but I'm going to stick with Ciara. And Ciara died. Brace yourselves, she was starved to death. We will read through the details just to make sure I get that exactly right, and we'll give the details of what the coroner's report stated, etc. But I'm quite sure that I'm right in saying that she starved to death. Despite living in a household with three adults and another child, or three adults and a child, Ciara was a 25-year-old woman, and she was a sufferer of cerebral palsy, I believe to a severe extent. I believe she wasn't in a position to look after herself. She wasn't in a position to feed herself. She wasn't in a position to walk. She was in a wheelchair. So I'm going to now give you an overview of the backstory. But again, it is very confusing. I'm going to get some of the details wrong, probably, but certainly the gist of it will be correct. Okay. So Ciara's mother, whose name is Karen Harrison, is the cousin of another woman, and I forget the other woman's name, but she's the cousin of Marilyn Maracle. Okay, Marilyn Maracle is married, and Karen is the cousin to Marilyn. And Karen moved into the home of Marilyn Maracle and Marilyn Maracle's husband. Karen moved in with Ciara, the 25-year-old cerebral palsy sufferer, as well as a young child. We're not provided details of that young child, but a young child. And as it turns out, at some stage, Marilyn Maracle, so the wife of the household, discovered at some point that her cousin, Karen Harrison, who moved in to the house, was having an affair with Marilyn Maracle's husband. Apparently, this affair started prior to the cousin, Karen, moving into the household. And Marilyn, the wife, and the cousin of Karen, found out of the sexual relationship between her cousin, Karen, and her husband only when Karen let it be known that she was pregnant. So that's what was going on. So I think we would call that a love triangle. And in essence, beyond that, and again, this is just the overview part, beyond that, it seems that the wife in question, Marilyn Sue Maracle, has provided I believe it's a plea bargain. I believe, I will double check, but I believe essentially she's provided testimony such that she claims that her husband and her cousin, Karen, purposefully allowed for Kira to wither away and die. She wasn't fed. Kira wasn't fed, and she wasn't in a position to feed herself. She wasn't cared for. On occasion, the young child would give Kira food on occasion, but essentially, Kira was left to die, really, by all three of them. The wife, Marilyn Sue Maracle, is pointing the finger mostly at the cousin Karen and her husband, but all three of them had the opportunity to care for and to feed and to ensure that Kira was hydrated, etc., and cared for. None of them did. They're all culpable. But that's what happened, and the reasoning, the motive is, according to the wife, Karen, the mother of Kira, and the husband wanted Kira to die. They wanted Kira to die because they didn't want Kira to be a part of their life moving forward. They wanted to live the cousin Karen, the mother of Kira, and the husband that she was having the affair with wanted to have their own life with their new child and the younger child, and not be burdened by Kira and her disabilities. So that's an overview. That's fairly accurate. There could be a couple of minor details incorrect, but that's really what happened in essence. And a trial has taken place. I forget all of the details. So a trial has been taken place. I believe Karen has been found guilty. I believe the mother is facing a 50-year sentence. Yes, that's right. Karen Harrison pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of manslaughter and conspiracy. She's serving a 50-year prison sentence. The wife provided a plea deal in the bid of receiving a reduced sentence, and sentencing is due to take place. I don't know when. I don't have those details in front of me, but there's the overview. Such a terrible situation. So I'm now going to read through the full article, which will tidy up a few of the details that I've given. I'm quite sure I've probably got a couple of the details wrong. I've probably missed a couple of important details. So we're just going to tidy that up for those that want to listen to that. But for those that don't, thanks for listening up to this point in any case. If you do like this type of content, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. As you may have noticed, I'm pumping out multiple true crime videos every single day about situations which are published today, perhaps yesterday, but certainly very, very recently. So if you do like this type of content, please do stick around, check out my live streams, and so I'll thank you guys for your time. And just to clarify, I will continue to read through the full article at this point. An Elizabeth woman accepted a plea deal last month, testifying that her husband and the mother of Kira Chantel Marie Harrison plotted for months to starve the young woman who was found dead in 2018. Marilyn Sue Maracle offered testimony on March the 17th in an allocution statement, which is a formal statement given by a defendant before sentencing. The body of Kira, and again, I do hope I pronounce her name correctly. There is the spelling. Kira, perhaps Syra Chantel Marie Harrison, but I'll carry on saying Kira. Apologies if I'm wrong. The body of Kira, who had cerebral palsy and needed a wheelchair, was found in the Plainview area home where they all lived after a call about a natural death was made to the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office on November the 23rd, 2018. Responding deputies found the home in deplorable condition, read a release, which was stated in a release at the time. The Rapides Parish Coroner's report later described appalling conditions at the home, which is off LA Highway 112. The report stated that Kira's body was found on a mattress on a floor that was covered with rotting food, dog food, and bodily fluids. She weighed between 65 and 70 pounds at the time of her death, which a pathologist attributed to failure to thrive and dehydration due to cerebral palsy and neglect. Homicide was listed as the manner of death. The home was described as being infested with roaches, animal feces, and flies. Okay, so the wife, Marilyn Sue Maracle, testified that Karen Harrison, Kira's mother, who is the wife's cousin, Marilyn's cousin. Okay, so the wife, Marilyn, testified that the mother of Kira, who is Marilyn's cousin, and her two children, so that includes Kira and a young boy, moved in with Marilyn and her husband around August 2018. Marilyn, the wife, said that Karen, the cousin, and the husband had a sexual relationship together, and that continued after they moved in. The wife said that she was unaware of the affair until the cousin, Karen Harrison, claimed to be pregnant. The wife, Marilyn, testified that she had told Rapide Sheriff detectives during one of her statements after they were all arrested that nobody had fed Kira since the family moved in. The wife, Marilyn, stated that the cousin, Karen, let her young son, who was 7 at the time when they moved in, take some food to Kira, but on occasion, that was it. So Kira wasn't properly looked after. The 7-year-old boy managed to effectively sneak in some food from time to time, but that was it. The wife claimed that she had heard the husband and the cousin talk about planning to starve Kira to death. And here's a quote from Marilyn. They were going to starve her to death and they were going to move together, live together, the three of them. So Karen, the husband, the child, and presumably also the baby that was on the way. They also planned to move to Texas. So that was apparently the plan, was to starve Kira to death, which is an awful plan. And to me, what boggles my mind is everyone went along with it. Even the wife, who wasn't a part of the plan, wasn't a benefactor of the plan, she went along with it too. She had every opportunity to feed, to care for Kira, and she didn't. How does that even happen? How can you have 3 psychotic psychos, 3 evil psychotics in the same household? How does that even happen? With the plea deal, Marilyn Maracle pleaded guilty to 1 felony count of conspiracy to commit second-degree murder and 2 amended felony counts, conspiracy to commit cruelty to the infirm and conspiracy to commit cruelty to juveniles. No action was taken on the second-degree murder charge during the hearing. She's been sentenced to 15 years hard labour on the conspiracy to commit second-degree murder and 5 years of hard labour for each of the remaining charges. And they're to be concurrent. Yes, they're to be served concurrently. So I believe Marilyn Maracle faces... I think 30 years of hard labour, if I have that right. I may have that wrong. And again, the article tells us that Kira's mother pleaded guilty in October 2021 to a lesser charge of manslaughter and conspiracy. She's serving a 50-year prison sentence. We're not being told anything about the husband. We're not being told anything about the husband, I'm quite sure. So there's that article. As I said, I have found this article pretty confusing. This whole scenario pretty confusing. Hopefully I've done a decent enough job explaining that to you. I think I'm going to use the word interesting, but I feel reluctant to do that because, we're talking about someone's death. Kira was starved to death. It seems wrong to use the word interesting, but it is appropriate. I do find this an interesting topic, but of course, more so, I find it horrendous and evil. 50 years in jail, that's good. I'd prefer life. I'd prefer the death penalty. I am a little bit confused, but perhaps impressed that she got 50 years in jail, even with a lesser charge of manslaughter and conspiracy. So even without murder, she still gets a 50-year prison sentence. The wife got 30 years in jail. I mean, she too did not care for Kira. She too stood by as Kira died, as Kira starved to death in terrible conditions, rotting food, feces on her mattress, starved to death. No food, no water, other than what her 7-year-old brother brought her. And I'm not sure why we're not being told what's happened with the husband. So I'm confused about that. So I'm going to wrap things up here. Normally, I like to say condolences to the family concerned. This doesn't really seem to be appropriate other than the 7-year-old boy. So we hope and presume that he's been looked after by CPS, Child Protective Services, or similar organisation, or hopefully even better, an extended family member. And what a burden he's got to live up with. He's got to carry. He's got to know that his mother had an affair with her cousin's husband, and during that period, the three adults that he was living with, whilst his mother was pregnant, purposefully starved his elder sister that suffered from cerebral palsy, that was in a wheelchair, that was left to live or to live and die on a mattress with rotting food, dog food and feces on it. That 7-year-old boy's got to grow up knowing that that's what happened at the hands of his own mother. So he's going to need a little bit of psychiatric help, I would imagine. So we hope that he gets exactly that. Other than that, I don't think I've got any more to add. If you have listened to all of this, thanks very much for your time. Take care. I'll wrap things up. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and give me any feedback that you like. Am I going on too much? Am I too boring? Am I doing a good job? Whatever it happens to be, come and join me on my live streams. Come and join each other, and take care.